We're good. Good morning, Ms. Rivers. You good from your home base?
Yes, I'm good, Judge. Good morning.
You've been able to hear me because the other machine was working, but I apologize for the late start. 9 a.m. was when we were supposed to start, and I knew that, and I overscheduled an out-of-office event that I had, and am getting here real late. So for those of you who've been stuck sitting around, thank goodness it's Zoom, so you could do other things while we were waiting to get started. We have a plea and arraignment calendar that looks like, except for the very end, is all plea and arraignments. And we will power through that and hopefully catch up. Position one, oh, so it's jail stuff too. So we have inmates here.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's figure out what we're doing with the calendar. We'll bring out anyone we need to bring out. Position one is Mr. Prince. Is he here? He's here. Okay. Who is representing Mr. Prince? That's not a public defender. I know they're co-defendants in this case. Who does the PD's office have?
We have Carter on this one.
Okay.
I think Luncheon was a C3 at one point.
Oh, right, and I received the email, she does no longer represent.
Okay. Well, we'll bring Mr. Prince out when we're done going through the calendar quickly here and share with him that unfortunate news that he may be in the queue for a C3 lawyer. Part of what I talked about this morning, these people. So there was a judicial hold. Did he recently get picked up? Is that what happened? Okay, so we need to get him a lawyer. Back in December of 2020, Ms. Luncheon entered an appearance, but she's told you she's off?
Yes.
Okay, she'll need to do a withdrawal, but I'll make a note of that.
She said she resigned from being a C3 back in February.
Okay. All right, position two, Jamar Newell.
Judge, this would be my client. He is the gentleman who has been reset, I think at least once or twice to get a new address in. I know we corrected that the last one. Every number I found for him is no longer his, so I'm not sure where Mr. Newell is.
How did we get the new address? You had a better address for him or some family member gave you one?
No, Judge, Ms. Nelson and I actually, this is one where I think it entered incorrectly in the clerk's office because it had like Stone Mountain and Peachtree Corners. And so we like looked on Google and figured out where it's supposed to be.
Okay. Going back to Mr. Carter, is Mr. Carter, it's a 2020 case. Is he in custody? He's the co-defendant of Mr. Prince. I'm going to call that case back up since we're here. I'm wondering why, if that case hasn't been resolved, we can't resolve it. Because it's old, 1.5, and looks like it's a drug. It does, but that doesn't mean we can't. So Mr. Pitts, I assume, has the conflict defender because it lists Michael Webb. So that would be Mr. So here's Ronald Carter. Discovery went out in, but then the initial hold. Oh, there's a hold on Mr. Carter. He must have not shown up.
There was 2 holds.
Yeah, so he had a FT. Okay, so Carter, that's why we can't work out Carter. Carter is in the wind. Okay. So Mr. Newell, we got in a corrected address, meaning it ought not to be saying something funny where the post office couldn't deliver it. We don't have Mr. Newell here today. So there was a change of address done about a month and a couple of weeks ago that has it at Peachtree Corners. He's not here. Bench warrant?
Your Honor, 88 Travis Thomas for the state. I'll be handling this case and I will be asking for a bench warrant.
Mr. Thomas, and sorry we kept you waiting this morning. Bench
That's okay, Your Honor.
will work with Nelson to make that happen.
No problem, Your Honor. Thank you.
3 is Jairus Ortiz.
They did a waiver and they were excused.
Okay. Ms. Patel, is this your case?
Good morning, Your Honor. It's 8A Hall.
Oh, is this your case?
Yes, this is Mr. Whitehouse case, so it'll be my case, Your Honor.
Wood ground at the hall. Why Mr. Ortiz has a $1,000 bond for rape and aggravated sodomy?
I do not, Your Honor. I can't hear you. It may be my internet, but can everyone else hear him?
Yeah, mine is cutting out too, Your Honor. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Rivers, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay.
This case, just that bond amount seemed peculiar.
Judge, you just got out.
Okay. Ms. Hall, can you hear me?
I can.
Not going to move other than my mouth. I'd ask you, please, to look at the bond situation for Mr. Ortiz. Judge set a bond for Mr. Ortiz only for, it was when it was a CP case, and it does not include the rape allegation. I don't see a bond in the system for all the counts of the indictment. I don't think that Judge Osby was authorized to set a bond for aggravated sodomy, but I may be misremembering what bonds have to be decided by a superior court judge. I thought aggravated sodomy was one of them. I may be mistaken, but I do know that in the system right now, there is a bond only for 2 of the counts of the indictment. So it seems like there ought to be a grand jury warrant out for Mr. Ortiz. And I want the system to reflect that there is a bond in place for every count.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm pulling it up now to check.
For today, there's nothing more to do. He's waived indictment. We'll get a scheduling order out and we'll move it forward.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right, position 4, James Smith. I don't recognize the name. Is that a PD case?
Yes, Judge, it should be. I left messages for Mr. Smith. I do not see him in attendance, unfortunately.
Okay. Ms. Charles, will this be your case or because it's family violence, terroristic threats?
This will be my case, Your Honor.
Warrant for Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. We'll be requesting a bench warrant.
In is online either. Mr. Okay. Oh, he waived his. Okay. May have gotten frustrated waiting for me. How about Sam Greer?
This is a C3 case.
It's. Let's see when he got on it. So he entered an appearance in April of last year. Do we know if Mr. Dark is still doing C3 work? It's listed as a defender. You listed at C3. I don't know.
I also don't know the answer to that.
I think this may be, given that Mr. Dark entered an appearance when it was in pre-indictment as a conflict offender, maybe it's a conflict offender case. And so this would be the gentleman with the hyphenated last name.
Sheldon.
Yes. Johns Harris.
Yes.
Maybe we'll be able to reach out to him. Okay. Speaking of Harris, how about Robert Harris?
Judge,
Oh, that's a bunch of cases. That's 3 positions.
yes, Judge, all of these are mine. I expect a plea today.
Happy. All right. Is Mr. Harris here? Okay. If you would let me know if folks are here in custody, if you just say in custody, that way I'll know. So that's, will that address, are there any CP cases left, or they've all been accused or indicted now? So it's it's positions 7 through 9.
It should be all of his. I don't think there are any. I'll double check. I don't-
Okay.
That's all of them. Uh-oh, I didn't hear you.
Okay. So there is a oh, it's closed. Okay. 9. We're good. All right. Ms. Hall, can you hear me now?
I can.
Now forever, or just while he's out, or how does this?
I'm just covering until he's back in July.
Great. Mr. Holt. Yes, he is. We need someone from the conflict defender's office to join us.
Case.
Okay.
5 reports being this morning.
Okay. I need to ask Ms. Ali about that, because there are apparently some judges who share a conflict defender with just one other judge and not with 100 other judges. So I will ask about that.
This case is the one that was privileged in the trial.
Yeah. Okay. Position 11, I don't understand why. Mr. Reed. Yes, he is. Have we heard anything from Mr. Jerome? And I know we got to talk about some things on the record with Mr. Reed in here. No sign of Mr. Jerome? Okay. Ms. William. Position 13. She's not here? Was she another juvenile?
Oh, this is the one that's going to Judge Krause. Was when it was a CP.
Oh, it got indicted.
It got indicted.
It got indicted.
So that's
Okay.
all.
That's how you fix that. And last but not least, Mr. Fox.
This is mine.
Have your name on there.
That's what we were gonna, so this case, Judge, has been reset multiple times.
Yes, it has.
Reset today for a plea. Mr. Fox is now saying there's a one plea.
Okay.
You benefit from a conflict with the court. He does seem great.
Remind me, the Z case I know is old. I see it says Whitenauer. Would this be Ms. Hall who's handling it, or Ms. Charles you'd be handling it for the state? Ms. Hall, okay. So hopefully she'll be able to hear us. But the revocation, there are new charges that have been indicted? Because you can't, no, they haven't.
Well, so part of our negotiation with 88 Whitenauer was we were waiving indictment on the arson case.
Yeah,
The axe talking would have been NP, not presented. So that's where we are on that. And that is what we did. So we did indictment. I did speak to Ms. Hall because of yesterday's events, a little bit of difficulty getting a number for the arson case. So Ms. Hall and I spoke with the court about if we could get a number on it, we could maybe specially set this for a plea sometime this week if the court had time. However, talking to Mr. Fox this morning,
So we need to talk with Mr. Fox, but the basic dynamic, and I'll get Ms. Hall to confirm it if she can hear us, is plea to the arson, whatever sentence that is, would also be the revocation in the Z case, and the ag stalking is NPG Jade.
yes, Judge.
Has that already happened, or it would have part of this global resolution?
Right.
He follows through with the plea, and in exchange for that, the state NPGJs the ag stalking.
Yes, Judge, that's the idea.
Okay, Ms. Hall, were you able to hear any of that?
I was, and that's correct.
So we need, number one, an accusation number, which we can work on with the clerk's office. Is the accusation drawn up?
Yes, Your Honor, I submitted that last week. I was on vacation towards the end of the week, so I was not able to force them to give me a number and couldn't check yesterday or today. So hopefully we'll have a number by tomorrow or later today. And if he changes his mind, then the state will be ready for the global resolution.
Can I share with Mr. Fox about the state's unwillingness to keep an offer like this open forever?
Well, in all fairness, Your Honor, Ms. Witt and I just talked today, so I guess we can give him some time to decide whether he wants to accept it. I know that this was something before I came, but we still needed verification that that things had happened before actually agreeing to this global resolution. And I was only able to confirm that with her today. So I say give him a couple weeks, maybe. We're ready, but I don't want to pressure him. And he just found out today that he'll be serving 5 years. So.
Okay, and that's what the state's recommendation is, or it's a negotiation?
So it's a negotiated plea of 20 to serve 5 years, balanced on probation for the arson case.
More probation for the guy. Okay.
And Judge, that was, I had spent a lot of time
Yes.
meeting. That wasn't the original offer.
Hmm.
So that's where we kind of met in the middle. And so now Mr. Fox is with second thoughts.
But Mr. Fox at one point was conveyed through you a more severe offer from the state, and Mr. Whitenauer succumbed to your negotiating skills and lowered it. So 5 is actually, even though maybe not something making him happy today, represents progress.
Yes.
Okay, that's just helpful so I know the dynamic. I don't want to miss it.
I might just add that the underlying probation case is the one where he got like a 60-year sentence.
Yep. A long time ago,
Yes.
but not 60 years ago. Okay, so we need to bring Mr. Prince out so I can let him know what's going on. What case are you? For which one? Okay, got it. We need to bring Mr. Prince out. We need to see if we can get a conflict defender to talk about position 6 and position 10, Mr. Holt. And then we can take a plea on 7, 8, 9. Maybe Mr. Jerome will show up. We'll talk about bond there. I think that's the only reason why it's on. If Mr. Jerome does show up and says, I don't have discovery, is that a true statement or a false statement?
It's a true false statement.
Well, I appreciate that
Case that I received in another courtroom, that I'm in the process of looking up and making sure I have everything, and I'll let them know today.
But of Mr. Reed's many, many cases, he ought to have a lot of the discovery. Okay,
One that I know.
got it. Okay. Why don't we get Mr. Prince to come out briefly, and then do you want to do Harris on a conflict defender or Mr. Fox?
Mr. Fox, I think would be shorter. I just need to go over the paperwork with Mr. Harris.
Okay,
I'm also going to send, he has a family member that wants to join.
Okay.
So I'm going to get that information to her.
okay. Why don't we'll do Prince then Fox?
Thank you.
That way Fox can marinate a little more.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure.
So, Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
So what, yeah, you got 2 bench warrants. So just please coordinate with Ms. Nelson on that and you are good to go. Appreciate you being here. Sorry I was late.
All right, no problem, Your Honor. You have a good day.
And
Good morning,
Your Honor,
Judge. How are you? Ooh, sorry, Ms. Hall. I think I spoke over you. I just wanted to confirm I did not hear the announcement on Mansfeld. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Sorry, Judge. I think it's cutting out.
It cut out.
Let's- No, no. If I go to the podium, just checking with you first. How you doing, Mr. Prince? I'm all right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So Mr. Mansfield is not here yet. His lawyer was here. His lawyer waived arraignment. So when Mr. Mansfield gets here, I'll bring him out, introduce myself, let him know what's going on. But you should focus on getting discovery to Mr. Eno. And we will get a scheduling order out for the case. Did I do
Thank you so much.
the bond hearing in this case?
No, I don't think so.
For that, you're welcome to, but there'll be a prosecutor here who will cover it anyway. All I'll be doing is saying hi and letting him know he should talk to his lawyer.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Prince, good morning. I'm Judge McBurney, and I need to just give you an update on your case. It's an old case. The charges aren't real serious, but we need to get you a lawyer. Unless you're able to hire an attorney, we need to appoint one to you and for you. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of lawyers right now who are lining up for appointments. We've got public defender sitting right next to you, but she represents a co-defendant in this case, a Mr. Carter. So I'm going to work hard to get someone assigned to your case. It seems like a case that ought to be able to work out. I don't want you to be sitting around waiting too long, but I wanted to meet you so you could create a face with the judge and for you to know what we're trying to do, which is to get you a lawyer. That lawyer can talk with you and with the prosecutor, the young lady sitting over at the other table. And then maybe this is something that can work out. And if not, then let's get you a trial so you're not stuck sitting around too much. That lawyer who's appointed to you will be able to talk about bond as well, because it may be that you ought to have a bond set in your case. You had a bench warrant for a while and that just caught up with you. So you're going to stay put. We'll get that lawyer. That lawyer will talk to you and then hopefully the prosecutor, and maybe we can just work this whole thing out. Okay. Do you have any questions other than how soon can you get me my lawyer?
I need to know that.
Okay, well, we're working on that. We learned today that, like I said, there was a lawyer appointed to represent you, but then your case was asleep for a while because we couldn't find you, and she resigned during that time. So we're going to get someone new, not meaning a brand new lawyer, but new to your case, and then that person will get to work. Okay, we will forget about you, get you on another calendar soon to make sure that something's happening. Okay. can't use like a public defender from your office to represent poor Mr. Prince. We need to work his case out. All right. So we'll bring Mr. Fox out next, chat briefly with him, and then you can do the paperwork on Mr. Harris. Fox, please.
Excuse me, does Mr. Travis have the same legal assistant they use? Yes, I think they did it cool.
And so while we're waiting, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Aya Batter. I'm in a non-complex plea division in the public defender's office. I just came to meet you and see some other courtrooms.
Great. Happy to have you here. Your last name again?
Batter.
Batter like cake?
Yeah, it's not how it's spelled, but that's how you pronounce it.
Okay, that's all you know is how to pronounce it. Batter. All right, Ms. Batter. Well, I'm glad you got to escape non-complex for a little bit. Are you NC1 or NC2?
NC2.
Is that Judge Brooks?
That's Judge DeFore.
Judge DeFore. So the news on the street is that we're getting you guys some trial calendars so you can move some cases. We designated a few days starting in July as non-complex jury selection dates, and both Judge DeFore and Judge Brooks, that's good. That's what we need, because they're cases that they need that nudge for one side or the other to say, all right, let's be practical here.
Right.
All right, Ms. Rivers, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Judge, here.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to move, and maybe that, I don't know why my movement would have anything to do with it, but I'm gonna, please let me know if you are not able to hear things.
Okay, I will.
Okay, we're gonna go on the record in position 14. It's Z89781, State versus Fox. Mr. Fox is here in person. I've seen him on a screen a bunch of times, not in person so often, with his lawyer, Ms. Wood. Mr. Fox, let me tell you what I understand the situation to be, and then you can tell me what's on your mind in connection with that. So you've got this old case that Judge Downs sentenced you to, I think, 60 years. It's just all sorts of probation. Since then, you picked up two different charges. One is an arson charge and one is an aggravated stalking charge. That's all I know, is that those are the charges. I don't know the substance behind them. Your lawyer, Ms. Wood, has been working very closely with the prosecutor to see if she could work something out, because that's a lot of.
Judge, you went out.
I'm gonna go sit at the witness stand and see if it's better there. I don't know if it's my microphone or the podium microphone. So I'm gonna try the witness stand and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I'm gonna go out. You're gonna. Okay. Busted her chops. I thought it was you. All right, Ms. Rivers, is this better?
Yes,
Okay.
so far.
Yeah, witness stand. I'm not under oath, though. The chair's totally. So, Mr. Fox, you've got the arson charge and the aggravated stalking charge. As I understand it, and the lawyers will correct me if I got this wrong, but they were just sharing with me the posture of your case. Instead of revoking 1 million years for getting arrested for two fairly serious things while you were on probation, the state has, on the arson case, to recommend to me a 20 years to serve 5 years with a balance probated. And that would run concurrently with your probation Z case. You'd also have 5 years revoked on the Z case, but those would run at the same time. So it's not 10, it's 5 going at the same time. And in addition, the aggravated stalking case would be dismissed. I think technically the term would be not presented to the grand jury, but it would be gone. It would not come back to haunt you. They would take care of those charges. I don't know if that's a reasonable outcome or an unreasonable one. The product of a lot of negotiations, and it sounds like Ms. Wood has been able to persuade the prosecutor to come down from a higher number where he was originally, as Ms. Wood has shared with him more about your situation. I need to know from you what you want to do. You have a couple options. Agree to this negotiated resolution. It doesn't bind me. I might think 5 years is too much. I might think 5 years is not. But if I were to sentence you higher than what was negotiated, you could back out. You could say, wait a minute. My lawyer negotiated for 5 and you just gave me 7. And I'd back to where we were. So one option would be to accept the offer and go forward with a plea on that arson piece. The other would say, I don't want 5, I'm not going to take that, which would then leave the state with the decision of, do we go forward with a revocation hearing, which is like a trial. They'd have to call in witnesses to prove up the arson, but the burden of proof is a lot lower. At trial, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the highest burden under the law. It's not easy to do. At a revocation hearing, it's by a preponderance of the evidence. So I weigh it, and if I think the state's evidence is just slightly better than the defense evidence, it could be a whole lot better, but slightly better, then that you violated your probation, and then we're talking about sentencing. And the state may not say 5. They may say, hey, we had to call in these witnesses and do all this other stuff. Now we're recommending 10 or whatever. I don't know what they'd do. They'd be entitled to recommend anything they want. Make sure you understand your two. So I'm comfortable that you're making a fully informed decision. I'm very comfortable that Ms. Wood will that out for you, but I also know that defendants sometimes want to hear it from the judge as well. So I've shared with you where I think we are, and I need you to let me know if you're, tell me right now what you want to do. You can have a few minutes to think about it and talk about it with Ms. Wood, because we have a few other cases that I need to work through this morning, but I don't want to keep getting you back on a screen or coming in here. I don't know what I want to do. It's time to pick one of those, work it out with the known or go forward with the unknown.
Mhm.
Up to 5 years.
Okay. So I heard your word. Well, except years. What it means to me
Yes,
is
you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
okay. How about now? Is it any better?
It's still breaking up a little.
Okay. I can't, unfortunately, Mr. Fox. How about now? Better?
Better.
So, Mr. Fox, what I am hearing you say in effect is, I think, I'm not excited about it, but I think I'd like to take the plea rather than have the mini trial of a revocation. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's helpful. Do you have questions about anything that I said? Because we then would go through that process this morning of you entering the plea, the revocation, and then they dismiss the aggravated stalking. Do you have any questions for me at this point?
What did you say it was going to be reset?
Right, because we're waiting for that
Your
accusation.
numbers.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make some phone calls to see if we can get the number this morning, so you don't have to wait. But you're exactly right. It may be reset because we need, it seems silly, but it needs to be a number, case number assigned to the, for you to plead. It has to be an official, like a birthday, like that. I'm gonna see if we can speak that. We cannot do it today. We'll get you back here this week, because I don't want you to wait anymore on any of this stuff. But my hope is maybe get that this morning. Okay, that work for you?
I just want to go back to the jail. I don't feel good.
Today,
Yes.
you want to go? You plea late this week.
Gotta do it later this month.
Okay, you'd rather not do it today.
I just don't.
Until you feel well, is this something you or?
Bothering me.
Okay. And what patient help you with?
Any side.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get it. Then we should not do the plea today. We need to make sure you get it. Do you usually get it in the morning or at night?
Get it at night.
Didn't get it.
No.
Okay.
And I didn't get my antidepressant this morning.
I appreciate you sharing that. So what I'm hearing you say though is you do want to go forward with the
5 years. I have no problem.
then we will make sure you get your medications and we'll get you back. It may not be the end of the month. That's a long time from now. It may be sooner, but we'll make sure. Say, I again do medications. We'll send you. I'll get on the phone with the folks at the jail. Give Mr. his medication before he comes over here. Okay. Thank you for.
Yes, sir.
We'll see.
Thank you.
All right, I will get that in the mail to you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How are you? You're.
And you're in a different area.
I am because there's something funky going on with the microphones.
I did.
Okay. I got you.
You hear?
Did you say Miss Hall?
It's still chopping up.
Yeah.
Just in case you want me
Is it better now?
That's better.
So maybe you have to keep holding that. No. Ms. Charles committed the arson. Ms. Hall.
I think it's all the microphones.
Yeah. The whole system. Information point next to the email you send them? Okay. You is an accusation. Here. Okay, good.
So it's just Ms. Lyra.
No, we got it. What's happening?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So Mansfield was.
Thank you.
This is one like he shot his friend.
His brother.
Yeah, this is.
Yes. he
Okay.
actually did a- Yeah.
No. That one. Okay. That one. Okay. All right, so let's do status check.
I just sent an email.
Okay.
I got an update.
Greer is here. How about Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I'm back.
You want to, Mr.
We can go. Let me just make sure.
Then I guess I'll go back. So we're. Mr. Derek. Six. You guys are here. We need backup.
What, sister? So, any Saw you on the.
Yeah. Events, it was because the my right. Yep. Gosh, we have a 18 coming in. So that's also this is a game. Case and part. So who of the defendants in this in the middle. Was that oh yeah. Mr. Frank. Lift, so maybe you're asking it. It is your case?
It is mine.
All right. We'll discuss.
Where was the one we wanna? Real quick.
There's something. Who? It's better not. Yeah.
I want to talk. Newell Withers.
All right. Well, yeah, no. And this case.
Julia says she's seen it. Thomas.
Yes, okay, that's. Yeah. Okay.
So here's the issue. It's the microphone. Can't hear what. Sometimes they can't. There's no. Not for the trial, but there's a hearing.
Case number? I didn't believe so.
I'm sure you did. I just want to make sure we had scheduled it. It's 14 SC.
I'm gonna go ahead and restart this computer.
Please, 124579.
No, I haven't said it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, that case is no longer on a trial calendar, so there's no huge rush, but it will provide clarity to everyone if they know whether the cell phone information is coming in and whether Mr. Abate can stay on the case. Wonder how vigorous.
All right, Ms. Nelson, this is Zelia. Are you there?
I'm right here.
Are you there? Okay. All right, so I'm Karen Rivers. Is this any better right now?
Yes, so far it's better, yes.
Okay, so we'll get somebody else out here to test it. Yes, if you don't mind.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
Yes, I can hear that.
Okay, do we need to do some kind of long soliloquy or something in order to verify that you don't get cutting in and out? Or is this sufficient?
Well, it only started cutting in and out once the judge had logged in, so.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll talk for a minute just to test to see if this is working. Hope everyone's doing okay.
It's working so far.
Well, right now I don't see the judge listed on there.
The judge listed as on the meeting itself?
Oh, you see my name twice?
Yes?
Then he.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, is it still
Okay,
working?
so then I guess that's him. He's listed under your name too as well.
Okay, well, if it's not cutting in and out, I guess we could try it again, Deidre.
Okay.
Just don't go far.
Okay. I will sit in the gallery.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have something he can handle now?
I've seen Mr. Jerome is on the Zoom.
Is he on?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good. This client is
One case over.
okay. I'll go tell the judge. Is Rita? Okay.
Well, are you guys referring to Monquezio Reed?
Yes, just one moment.
Okay.
That's okay.
I was running a record. This has habit. You want me to? Oh, that's, you can figure it in. Oh, that's really fun.
I'll call you when we're good.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's a very good question.
I like look and search on that basis. When you find out this.
Right.
Okay, this is literally what it's trying to do. So that's good. So
Yeah.
this is count two. One is a little different than what I thought it was. So I know it is the same.
It's different dates and it's
Oh, okay.
confusing, so they
That's what I
joined
said.
two separate sleepy cases.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. It is,
Yeah.
then you're right.
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
Yay.
Good job. Do we have any questions for you or anything?
No, I don't know, and everything, you know, the normal case stuff. Oh, that's, Petition for us. Oh, good. Yeah.
So we're going to try things out while you are all here. Let me get back on the screen. Ms. Rivers, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Hear me now.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, a little choppy, but I can hear you.
Ms. Hall, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it choppy or is it crystal clear like we're in the same room?
It's choppy. It's not as bad. It's not as bad as it was earlier.
Okay. Beyond restarting things, did you guys do anything or you simply just reinitiated the call?
I shifted where the sound USB was plugged in also.
At the podium? Okay. All right. Well, why don't, if you don't mind sticking around for a little bit, we'll get into the hearing and see if I cut in or out. The experience was it would start out good, and with me touching nothing, simply talking, magically like 4 minutes in, Judge, we can't hear you anymore. And so I don't understand how that would happen, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Ms. Wood, do you want to go forward with Mr. Harris, or are we going to, you ready for that?
For Harris, Judge.
Okay, great. And I think, Mr. Jerome, we've got you on the call.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you are here on behalf of Mr. Reed. And when we've got a minute, we will handle, I think there's a bond motion that you filed. That's what you were hoping we would cover today with Mr. Reed? Okay, excellent. Well, you can be at ease. We're going to take a plea in a few cases. I've got an 11:45 phone call that I need to be on, and then we'll get back onto things depending on what's left. We are still hoping that a conflict defender will join us for a couple positions on this calendar. And I guess we'll have one for sure at 1, in theory for sure. So that might be a time to do it. But why don't we, Ms. Hall, are you handling Mr. Harris's many cases?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, and is my voice continuing to be clear and soothing to you?
It is, Your Honor.
Excellent. I like to hear that. Then let's bring Mr. Harris out, please. All right, so if we get about 5 minutes into the colloquy and it's all good, you guys can, or you, Mr. Lagon, may go back to the press of your other business.
Hey, so we've been having technical issues, so just make sure you speak loudly and clearly into the mic, okay?
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Harris.
Good morning.
You ready to go forward?
Yes, sir.
I'm Judge McBurney, and Ms. Wood tells me that you are prepared to enter pleas in, I believe it's 3 cases. Are we doing pleas in all 3, or 1 and some are being null prossed?
The state plans to null pros positions 7 and 8, Your Honor, and we're going to move forward on the final case, which is 22 SC 181558.
553.
I mean 3. I'm sorry. Yes,
okay,
3.
Great.
I'll send the null pros email as soon as we get done taking this plea.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Harris, I stand corrected. You're going to enter a plea in 1 case. The charges are the same across the 3 cases, but this case to which you're entering a plea today, if I accept it, it's 22 SC 181553. And if that plea goes through, the state is going to dismiss 2 slightly older cases that charge similar offenses against you. So 1 plea, 2 dismissals. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The way this is going to work is that Ms. Hall, who I will make prominent on your screen there, she's the prosecutor. She is going to put you under oath in just a moment. Once you're under oath, it's important that you answer all of her questions and mine truthfully and completely. It is no less important that you let me or Ms. Wood or both of us know if you have questions of your own. It's important that I'm confident that you've understood everything we talked about. So if someone says something that you can't hear or it just doesn't make sense, tell us to stop and we'll make it clear or audible or both. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. When you're ready, Ms. Hall.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you should give in the matter currently before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. Please state your true, correct, and legal name.
Robert Ivan Gibbs Harris.
And Ms. Harris, are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not been given today?
No.
How old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 36. in 11th grade.
And are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes,
And do you understand that you have been charged with 2 counts of state sex offender registry violation?
yes,
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to those charges? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial.
yes,
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in this indictment, including any potential defenses?
yes,
Do you need more time to discuss this case with your attorney?
no,
Are you satisfied with her services?
yes,
Counsel, do you waive formal reading of the indictment?
So
Yeah.
waived.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment, including with respect to the defendant's name?
So waived for purposes of this hearing.
Mr. Harris, have you been arrested on these charges?
yes,
I ask because the state is unaware of any outstanding warrants that are related to these charges. Do you or your attorney know of any outstanding warrants related to these charges?
no,
Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence to the charges that you're pleading to?
yes,
The minimum and maximum sentence for the offender violation charge is 1 to 30 years to serve.
yes,
Do you understand this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means the state will recommend to the court a sentence of 10 years to serve 1, reduced to time served, balanced on probation with credit for time served. And the court doesn't have to accept that recommendation. The court can sentence you to the maximum on these charges and can run those sentences consecutively or one after another. Do you understand?
yes,
Do you understand this is a guilty plea, which is permanently recorded on your criminal history?
yes,
Do you understand this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as other jurisdictions, including the federal courts?
yes,
Do you understand that if you are placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental units or any special conditions of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of the sentence?
yes,
Do you understand you're not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
yes,
Do you understand if you're not a United States citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just as a conviction at trial would? And this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else.
yes,
Do you understand that by pleading guilty to a felony, if you use, receive, possess, or transport a firearm or use a firearm in a crime, you will be guilty of a felony, which may carry a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison?
yes,
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
yes,
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you will have the right to a trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
yes,
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial?
yes,
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea today?
no,
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
yes,
In indictment number 22 SC 181553, how do you plead to the 2 counts of state sex offender registry violation?
guilty,
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charges against you?
freely,
You are doing this freely and on your own will?
yes,
Okay. And do you understand that you only have 30 days to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
yes,
And do you understand that you only have 4 years from today for a felony charge to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea?
yes,
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Your Honor, give me one moment. Your Honor, if this case had proceeded to trial, the state expected the evidence to show that Mr. Harris is a registered sex offender in Fulton County following a conviction for a sexual misconduct case back in New York. Disposition was March 15th, 2007. He's required to register annually within 72 hours of his birthday. He failed to do that in 2020 and 2021. He did not report to the sheriff's office in Fulton County or any county to report, and failing to do so, warrants were taken out for this indictment. The state is aware of 2 prior convictions by the defendant, 1 forgery case, and then the case that I just mentioned from New York, disposition of 2007.
We don't have,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
sorry, we don't have anyone from pretrial services here. We finally have a calendar where they could help out. We have a new, I'm sorry, this is going to seem like a complete non sequitur, but learning from other colleagues, I've invited pretrial services to join us for calendars like these. They, in conjunction with Ms. Tucson, are able to provide a more comprehensive overview of someone's criminal history. And I was about to turn to the lucky non-existent pretrial services person, but I'll reach out to them, figure out what we missed with them. So you were going to tell me about the 2 convictions, forgery.
The forgery and the sexual misconduct from New York. But I was going to explain to you, which Ms. Wood will probably explain a little better than me, but the credit that I was referring to in my recommendation is a total of 250 days that the defendant should be currently or should get credit for. The case that the state is dismissing is the one ended in 910. During a time in which we thought that he didn't register, he actually was in custody at Cobb County for 175 days. The second case that we're now processing, he was in custody at Cherokee County for 3 days during the time in which he should have registered. Those are the reasons in which the state decided to null process the cases, but because he was in custody during the time of even, Judge Barwick dismissed the case that we were holding him on. It's a 20 CP 191396 case. After he had been held in Cobb County for the 175 days, Mr. Whitenhauer is going to give him credit for all this time, which is 250 days. And that's why the sentence is 10 served 1 reduced to time served, credit for time served.
Got it. Okay. So the 2 cases that you're going to be dismissing, if this plea goes through, those are not December 9th, 2020 and November 30th, 2021. They are other dates when Mr. Harris should have registered. He didn't, but at least for one of them, he couldn't because he was in jail, maybe for both of them. He was in custody elsewhere.
For both, yes, that is correct.
Got it. All right. The forgery case, is that also out of New York?
No, that is a Fulton County case.
I think it might be Cobb County, Judge.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it's a Georgia case, but
yeah.
Sorry about that.
It might be transferred to Fulton. You're right. I think you're right, Cassie.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Tucson. Are you able to hear me?
It's a Cobb County
Good
case.
morning, George. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any criminal history for Mr. Harris beyond the Cobb County forgery case?
No, Judge, it's just the 2 cases. His probation just ended, actually, March 15th of 2022. That's Cobb. And then there was a Fulton County 16 SC 148502 for family violence battery.
Okay, but that's closed out as well?
That's correct.
Okay, and the forgery, which was out of Cobb, that probation expired, it sounds like about a month and a half ago.
Correct.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Ms. Wood.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Harris is 36 years old. He is originally from New York. He has been here in Georgia roughly 6 years, I think, if I did my math correct. He has 1 daughter. She's 12 years old. She lives with her mom in Sandy Springs. He does have an 11th grade education, and prior to his arrest, he was working at Georgia Tech as a custodian. He's also done some construction work and painting jobs. Judge, this was a little bit difficult to piece together. ADA Whitenauer and I worked on it, and then ADA Hall and I also worked on it. So the case that she's referencing, he was actually in custody in Cobb County for that violation. And that's the one that Judge Barwick had dismissed, and then it got brought back in the indictment stage. So we're grateful to the state for working with us on that. And then for these two incidents, I did just want to let the court know, he lost his sisters, one of whom raised him, and an uncle to COVID during 2020 and then 2021. And so that is what he attributes to kind of not being in the right headspace to cross all his T's and dot all his I's for the registry judge. I'm not sure if his sister Shirley was able to log on. She's been texting me. She's having difficulty getting into the Zoom.
There is a Shirley Harris Love who is on, looks like video only, so we may not be able to hear her, but she is with us. Hopefully she can hear us.
Wonderful, Judge. So that is his sister. She currently resides in New York. However, she has informed me that she is headed down to Georgia within the next 2 weeks to help Mr. Harris get on his feet and get stabilized. Very fortunate to have her in his corner. She's also going to help him stay in a hotel until she can find a stable. Well, I'm going to help her as well, but it is difficult with the registry violations to get stable housing.
Sure.
So I did just want to let the court know that she is very involved. And as Ms. Hall said, he has served 250 days collectively. So we just ask that the court accept this recommendation.
Okay. Mr. Harris, I've got a few questions for you or for the lawyers. And then if there's anything you want to add, you've got a right to share with me anything you want to. So the case out of New York from Nassau County, it's got this obscure sexual misconduct name. What was it about? Is it like a rape case or a molestation case or what?
No, it's not.
Oh, go ahead.
It's not a rape case. I was 19 at the time and the girl was 16.
Okay. So here we might call it statutory rape, not suggesting that there was any violence or force involved, but because of the age difference and the fact that one of the two people involved was under 18 or 17, that led to that conviction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is it one, from your understanding, Ms. Wood, where Mr. Harris has an ongoing, as in for the rest of his life, obligation to register? I guess at some point he could petition to have the registration requirements lifted, but for now it's every year.
That's my understanding for now. I did tell him that I would be happy to look into it because I believe if what he's telling me is correct, it was a misdemeanor in New York. So I know it gets a little fuzzy when it's a different state, but
Right.
I am going to double check that.
Okay.
For him.
Yeah, Mr. Harris, you may want to, and I'm not offering you legal advice, not my job. But after you get stable,
Yes.
out of jail, working, your sister's helping you out, you may want to reach out to legal aid, or there are a number of places that at a very low cost or no cost would try to help you get off the registry. They can't just automatically do it. It's actually a lawsuit that you bring. And then a judge looks at the law to see whether you're eligible to deregister. And some folks are entitled to deregister, and others it's the discretion of the judge. But you may want to start knocking on that door, because if you were 19 then, you're 36 now, that was a while ago. And what you claim it is, I'm not doubting you, but of course there had to be proof that it was what you described. That's the kind of thing where folks maybe could get off the registry. And I don't want to falsely raise your hopes, but it's certainly something to explore because it would simplify your life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You may have a hold out of Cobb. The system says you've got a hold out of Cobb. So I may go along with this sentence, which in theory would get you out today, but it won't because of this Cobb hold. And that means you're gonna need to go to Cobb. If your probation has expired there, I'm not quite sure what's holding you, but you may have other business in Cobb. But I just want to put on your radar the fact that the jail system here in Fulton County says when Mr. Harris is done in Fulton, he needs to go to Cobb.
Okay.
Is that a surprise to you?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where will you live when you get out?
In the hotel.
Okay. And the hotel you have in mind is one that is safe for you to live there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that where you were living before you got picked up?
No,
Okay. It sounds like your sister's coming down to help. Is she older or younger?
she's older.
Okay. And you realize that until you get a judge to sign an order that says you don't need to register anymore, every year you need to register on or about your birthday.
Yes, sir.
Next year, the year after, or these kinds of cases are going to come running after you again. They're real easy cases to figure out because the sheriff has a list of who's supposed to register. The DA's office says, did they do it? And if they didn't, then there's another case out there. So don't forget it. When's your birthday?
11/29/86.
There you go. So right after Thanksgiving, you come to this building. This is where you register.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Mr. Harris, do you have anything you want to share with me?
I don't.
Any questions about anything I've said?
No.
Any questions about anything anyone else has said?
No.
Okay. Well, Mr. Harris, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. It does sound like there were some complicated things going on in your life with the loss of loved ones. It's the pandemic and life can get complicated, but you have an unwaivable obligation around the 29th of November every year. And that's come on down and say, it's me and here's where I live. And if you move, you let them know that you moved. Okay. So make sure you register. I also find that your plea is knowing and voluntary. Voluntary means no one's forcing you to enter this plea, and knowing means you've understood the things we've talked about. Do you agree with both those statements?
Yes, sir.
I'm sentencing you pursuant to the Probation Options Management Act, which means that while you're on probation, which you will be for a few years, if you have a minor violation, maybe you miss a meeting with probation, something like that, you and probation will figure that out. You don't need to come see me. But if it's a serious violation, you get arrested again, you fail to register, we're back together again. And next time it's probably not going to be a time served kind of thing if you don't register, because you and I have talked about it and I know you can do it. So you need to make sure you do it. Ms. Wood, do you authorize me to sign the indictment indicating your client's guilty plea on your behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harris, can I sign the indictment for you?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Hall?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hall, assuming I follow the general recommendation of the state on this case, you will be dismissing or null processing the case ending in 910 and the case ending in 986?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, Mr. Harris, I think it's a reasonable negotiated resolution. I'm going to tweak it a little bit in that I'm going to shrink to a certain extent the amount of time you're going to be on probation. You're either going to start registering again soon or you're not. And 8 years from now, if you don't register, someone else can pursue that. So I am going to sentence you on count 1 to 8 years to serve 1. That 1 will be reduced to the time served and the balance will be probated. Count 2 will be 8 years to serve 1, reduced to time served, balance probated. Those counts will run concurrently with each other. So I just shrunk your probation by a couple of years. That's not because I'm feeling lovey-dovey about you or anything like that. I just think that that's still a whole lot of probation. And if you mess up, November 29th of 2022, we'll be here for you. And I'll have a whole bunch of probation I can work with to say, you know what you need to do and you didn't do it. So that will be your sentence. I didn't hear you have any special conditions of probation, Ms. Hall. Is that correct?
That is correct, Doug. Just the register, which you've mentioned multiple times.
Okay, that's right. You will continue to need to register until you get legal relief from that requirement. That's all I've got. Ms. Wood, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Harris, good luck. Like I said, you will not get out because of this sentence. Even though this sentence says you're done with jail, you got to go to Cobb to deal with whatever that is. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, on Mr. Ortiz's case, I did look that case up and there was a grand jury warrant attached to our direct indictment that was that should be processed. So I'll check on that with our office with intake to make sure that went out.
Okay, yeah, and please coordinate with Ms. Nelson because it doesn't show up on our calendar with a W. And I'm going to let Mr. Ortiz walk himself in, but we'll need to have that happen. He doesn't charge with rape. He doesn't have a bond on the rape count. So we may reach out to his lawyer once we verify that the grand jury warrants are in place so that we can have it be an orderly process.
Okay.
All right.
I will be in contact with Ms. Nelson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. It was great seeing you.
Nice seeing you too. Bye, Ms. Nelson. Bye, Ms. Rivers.
Ms. Hall, nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too.
All right. Mr. Therry, we've got a moment of your time. Are you able to hear me?
Your Honor. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you? You have, I think one of these will be your case. The other may end up being your colleagues, but I wanted to see if we could work through both of them with you today. Do you have the calendar in front of you?
I had a status calendar for 1 o'clock. Is that?
That's not the one I'm talking about. There was also a plea and arraignment calendar for 9. It would have been sent to you the same time you got the status calendar.
One moment, please, Your Honor.
I know you've got 1,000 calendars to work through, but let me know if you can find it, because I want to point you to the 2 cases I wanted to chat with you about.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thanks. I'm looking right now. All right. So the calendar is May 3rd.
It's in your inbox now, too.
Not yet, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I'm looking, I just looked at one of the calendars.
Okay, well, let me walk you through the 2 of them, but we just resent the calendar as well. One of them is a case where the defendant is charged with cruelty to children in the 1st degree. It's on for plea and arraignment. Would that be your case or Mr. Johns Harris's case, based on that charge?
Harris, and I would be glad to stand in his place and dealing with that plea and arraignment today, Your Honor.
Great. So we'll bring Mr. Greer out in a minute. The other case is a gentleman with the last name of Holt. It is an old case, a 16 SC.
Excuse me, Zacchaeus Holt that you have for June 2nd?
Yep.
Yes, Your Honor.
He is here because he did not show up for the trial calendar. So a bench warrant was issued. And unlike some of our defendants who are on bench warrant for 8 years, he was on bench warrant for about 8 minutes and got picked up. So he's here, and I just want to talk to him and let him know that you'll connect with him soon, because it may be he wants to have a bond hearing in connection with the bench warrant that was issued. We don't need to do that today, because I don't know that you've had a chance to connect with him, but he has family here, and I just want to start that process and let Mr. Holt know what's going on. So are you comfortable doing both those things?
Yes, Your Honor. I have Mr. Holt's file. At the time of the trial calendar call, I had his file. I looked over, I had spoken with the Assistant District Attorney about regarding the case at the time of retrying the matter.
Yeah.
So I'll be happy to proceed with waiving arraignment regarding Mr. Shelton Johns Harris's case.
Okay.
As we do with Mr. Holt's case.
Great. So let's bring Mr. Greer. Oh, he's right there. Mr. Greer out, sitting down.
And I apologize, Your Honor. I thought Mr. Holt was on the status calendar for 1 o'clock.
That's okay. Hey, Mr. Greer, if you'll go to the podium right there. All right, Mr. Greer, you see on the screen, that's Mr. Theory. He is a conflict defender, and his colleague, Mr. Johns Harris, is going to be representing you in this case. You were earlier represented by an attorney, Terrell Dark, who worked for the Conflict Defender's Office. You're on the calendar today just for plea and arraignment. So I chatted briefly with Mr. Theory, the gentleman on the screen, and he is comfortable handling this piece. And then Mr. Johns Harris, the guy who's actually going to be your lawyer, will come out and see you and talk about next steps with your case. Mr. Theory, are you waiving arraignment for Mr. Greer and entering a not guilty plea on his behalf?
Yes, Your Honor, would like to waive arraignment and enter a not guilty plea on his behalf and on the behalf of Mr. Shelton Johns Harris as his attorney today.
Okay, I'll accept that. What that means, Mr. Greer, is that the prosecutor in this case is going to get your lawyer the discovery, the reports that she may have about whatever this case is about. Then your lawyer will come talk to you and figure out what's next. Bond hearing, motion to suppress. Maybe it's a case that should work out. I don't know. It may be one that you say, you know what, I did these things, and the state's offering X. Let's do whatever that is. But most importantly, you and Mr. Johns Harris will need to connect. Okay? Do you have any questions for me about anything?
No, sir.
All right. Well, we'll see you soon after that scheduling order goes out. Mr. Theory, you have a question, sir?
I would just ask that he leave his phone number so that I can give Mr. Johns Harris his contact information, please.
Well, he's in custody, so he's not, you can't see on your screen so well, but let me make Mr. Greer big. He's in custody right there. So Mr. Johns Harris knows how to find him. On my calendar, it says he's on 4th floor south. They may have moved you, but when this calendar was published, you were 4th floor south. So he'll come see you and you guys will take it from there. All right. Mr. Theory, anything else on behalf of Mr. Greer?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Mr. Theory, how have you and Mr. Johns Harris worked something like what we just did? Will Mr. Johns Harris file the waiver and the entry of appearance so his name goes in there, or do you do that on his behalf?
If you would be okay with me doing it on his behalf, I'd be happy to do it. If not, he would be returning from leave and can do it, Your Honor.
The sooner we get it in the system, the better. So if you've got the bandwidth to do it, that's great. It's just one page, but that will get his name in the docket as Mr. Greer's lawyer.
Okay, I can do that today, Your Honor.
Great, thank you. Let's bring Mr. Holt out, please. Good morning, Mr. Holt.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing? You slide over a little bit more. Perfect. All right. We've got Mr. Theory, who is your lawyer now, on this call. I just want to bring you out so we could have a little status check. Your case was on our April 5 trial calendar and you weren't there.
Yes, sir.
And you don't need to tell me why you weren't right now. I just want to let you know how this is going to play out. Because you weren't there, the state asked that I sign a bench warrant for your failure to appear, which I did. And pretty quickly you got picked up. I don't know if they went to your house or whatever happened. Mr. Theory and you need to have a conversation. He will come see you, get you on the phone or something, because it may be that Mr. Theory wants to file a motion seeking to lift the bench warrant because there was a justifiable explanation for why you were not at the trial calendar. I explained to him at the time, because he's newer to your case, that you had not missed court in the past. And so this was a little different, but things happen and no one showed up on your behalf to say, no, wait, Mr. Holt's in the hospital, or to explain why you weren't there. So don't blame anyone else. You weren't there. So I don't want you to say anything until you have a chance to talk with Mr. Theory. Like I said, you may have a really good explanation as to why you weren't there, and I'll be very open to that. And if it makes sense, then we'll get you back on the bond you were on and get you back in business. Mr. Theory, do you want to add anything at this point, or you will see Mr. Holt as soon as you can? And if you think it's appropriate, you'll reach out to Ms. Nelson to get Mr. Holt's case not on for trial, although we need to do that, but on to address the bench warrant.
Well, Your Honor, I'd like to give his family members who are in the gallery my cell phone number, if they are in the gallery. One of the things is when I got Mr. Holt's information, his file, I did not have contact information. And so I would like to give the family my information if they are there as contacts. And I will be coming to see Mr. Holt I thought that Mr. Holt was on the 1 o'clock status calendar today, or I would have seen him when I come to court shortly.
Okay. Well, we can keep Mr. Holt here. Why don't we do that? Is that we'll keep Mr. Holt here and you can chat with him when you get here, because I know you're destined to this courtroom, and it may well be he can educate you fast enough that you're able to make a good argument as to why the bench warrant should be lifted. So why don't we pause this? I'd like you, if you would put in the chat your cell phone number, whatever number you want, I'll write it down and I'll make sure it gets to the young lady who's here on behalf of Mr. Holt. But then you can also see him at 1 and you guys can talk and we'll give you a chance to say what you want to say. I just want you to wait till you and Mr. Theory have spoken first, because it may be you say something and the prosecutor's like, oh, that's fascinating, and we're going to use that against him someday. And Mr. Theory would be in a position to say, let's not share that part of your excuse. Okay? All right.
At this point, y'all, it doesn't appear that I can do the chat, but I'd be happy to give my phone number over the Zoom.
Let me see.
Oh, okay, I see it.
You should have just gotten something from me. And so you just write back to me and that'll have it.
It says to Deidre Nelson. Okay.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'm on as Deidre. I got to change my name. Everyone's confused. Who's this joker? But yeah, pretend I'm Deidre Nelson.
Okay.
There, I just changed my name. Okay, got it. All right, so Mr. Theory, you can sign off this call because I want you to be here at 1. I don't know how far away you are. We'll keep Mr. Holt here. You can meet with him when you get here. If you get here before 1, you can slide on back there. And I'm going to give your number to the person who is here on behalf of Mr. Holt. Mr. Holt, do you have any questions that cannot wait until Mr. Theory gets here to chat with you?
What is his name? His name is Mr. Theory. I'm trying to.
So here, so you don't have to guess.
Can the phone number be sent to my fiance? Because
I'm gonna hand it to her. It's right here. It's right here. But that face on the screen right there, that's Mr. Theory. And he's gonna be here this afternoon, well, soon, to talk to you about why you missed court. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Theory.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you like me to come before the 1 o'clock call, or?
The sooner you get here, I mean, the deputies will be here to let you in. So if you want to get here at 12:30, 12:45, then you could get back there and talk with Mr. Holt.
And Miss Lyra is there as well?
So Miss Lyra, I think, is on bond. No, Miss Lyra's in custody?
Yeah,
okay. Oh, she's a YDC person. So she's probably not up yet, but she will be here.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thanks.
I will be there.
Oh, did Ms. Lyra have her bond revoked? She did. It's clicking now. Okay, now I see why she's bleeding. Okay. Would you get that? Thank you. All right.
Ms. Charles, Your Honor, was we were planning on doing a plea today.
That's what Ms. Charles told me. I was excited to hear that. So we'll see you a little before 1, okay?
What time would you like me there? Because is court going to actually be at 1? Because of course I'll be there sooner to speak to my clients, but if you want me early at a specific time, I'd be happy to come before 12:45 or 12:30.
Well, I need to make sure there'll be deputies in here. They need a lunch break. So what time should Mr. Theory get here before 1 so that he can meet with Holt, and ideally Lyra will be up by then? 12:30. So if you get here by 12:30, we'll have a deputy in here who could get you back into lockup, okay?
Okay, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
We have, oh, he dropped off. Okay. Yeah, we'll be in recess now. We had Mr. Reed. Is Mr. Reed up? His lawyer disappeared. We'll see if we can get him back. Because we gotta get a few things on the record about that. But I don't think, let me just look at the calendar. Don't run away yet. We did all those. Plead, no pros. Holt will revisit, and then it's Reed. And then Mr. Fox needs to come back. So yes, we'll be in recess till 1. I'll be on time for the 1 o'clock. And if you don't mind having at least one person in here by 12:30 to get Mr. Theory back there. And it's the same Zoom, so I'll just put up the lunch break thing. Before you guys disappear. So the 1 o'clock is, got all sorts of stuff. I don't know why you don't have one of these gang members, gang allegation things. Is Stephen Jones? We don't know who that is. Okay. Travis Foreman. How many lawyers does this guy have? So you'll be back, Ms. Wood, at 1 for Harrison Trim.
Yes.
Okay. Ricky Wolf is not yours. Vanessa Lira is not yours. That's it. And then are you also handling the John Connor? Your name and Ms. Primvik's name are on that. The John Connor suppression hearing?
I was given a note that was withdrawn, but I don't know who's handling that from the office.
Ms. Patel?
Okay, I'm gonna text her.
Okay, find out. It's not a particularized motion. Shamil Patel filed it in November of last year. So it's about 6 months old. It just says he made statements and it doesn't say what they were, when they were, et cetera. If it's withdrawn, that'll be good to know. And then we can put I think he is on a trial calendar.
That's the second continuation of this?
Yes.
Right.
Well, one time I think we continued it because we got stuck in trial.
I thought it was like you had some testimony on it, but maybe not.
No, there's an immunity hearing, Adkins, where Ms. Patel got one witness up, but we didn't finish, maybe 2. We didn't finish that. Mr. Connor, I've never had an extended conversation with. He was in Douglas County for a long time. And Douglas County was supposed to prosecute that case. And that would have, and then that, so. Anyway, if you could dig deeper on that to figure out if that's going forward or not.
Judge, I also think number 18 on this calendar, D'Angelo Withers.
Yeah.
I know it says Overton, but I think that might have been when he was out of office back in the day.
Okay.
So Ms. Taub and I spoke about this. I think this probation matter was actually already handled by Judge Dempsey last May.
Let's look. If he's still in jail, that's too bad. I wonder what's.
He's got a pending CP case.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
There was 1 year ago, almost to the day, about a week off. Judge Dempsey continued him on probation based on 2 arrests. So I don't know what this petition is. Maybe if we get the petition that is bringing Mr. Withers before us, if it relates to arrests in May 2020 and April 2021, then we don't need to do anything with Mr. Withers. And in terms of representation, did Shavontana Davis work in your office? That would have been in 2014. I'm not going to make you remember that. Let's see, the final disposition will probably say if that's appointment means that would be like you would be appointed. So someone named Shavantana Davis took the plea in Mr. Withers's case. So if she is a public defender, then I'd ask that you stick on this. I just don't know. I've heard of that person.
And I think on the Connor, I think the detective was one that was in the car accident.
Could be. One of those old cases, there was a detective who wasn't available. So It may already be here. The Withers probation, revocation petition.
So why was it transferred?
It was said Markle, and so we had to move it to us. It's not an open case, but. Look at warrants. Is that where you find them? So I signed a warrant in May of last year, and the basis was in May of last year, he drove with license suspended or revoked. And then what did the Judge Dempsey thing say? It's something different. I'll print the warrant out, but Judge Dempsey's revocation order says something happened in May of 2020 and April of 2021. And for that, I continue you on, it's a revocation and then you're continued on probation. The warrant I signed was signed, Mr. Withers has been a busy guy, was signed about 2 weeks after the revocation hearing. And it alleges that about 4 days after the revocation hearing, he was driving with a suspended or revoked license. Seems like something we can work out either way,
Yes, Judge.
but I don't think it's something that has already been addressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your job is to find out should you, and he's got the CP case, of course, but your job is to find out if it's your case. All right. So I'm going to make it to this phone call and I'll be back out here at 1. Oh, and you should figure out this, John, you have a lot to do, the John Connor thing too.
Yes.
Do you want a copy of the warrant? Or you have it for Withers?
The one that I was looking at, I think, is from 2020, which is the one that's in Odyssey or in the booking screen. So I would like to see the new one.
Okay.
If possible.
Do you need a copy, Ms. Charles? Look at me providing all these copies.
And do you want to talk about trim?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, talk about trim.
Yeah.
Today's the day.
Otherwise, we're gonna have another calendar like the tax.
I know.
Oh, because was it?
Yep.
That's him.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So, I know. I just wanted to confirm that. So, yeah, oh, right here. What'd you say? Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Yeah, let's totally. Perfect. All right, perfect.
I'll come back.
Okay. Okay. That's cool.
Are you gonna come back? Are you gonna stay?
And do you have food here? Do you have food here?
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
But you don't have to.
Are you sure? Okay, good.
No problem.
I need my house. Can I stay here? Or do you guys need me to leave? Okay.
You take me back on home and
If
everything?
you wanna go wherever, I'll be here. So just call me, I can let you in.
Where's the one?
You got family.
You got food?
Let me just get organized. Yeah, so you have someone, oh, devotion, this.
Is promotion happening?
So. Yeah, so, hold on, let me see what she said. So Maryland, these are that's Maryland parents, so. So technically, yes, and then she's also covering an attorney's expert in the trust. Which is part of it. So that's why she was like, she was like, whatever, like, to make the announcement. I'm gonna send an email. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little shocking to be like, oh, it's my promotion.
Right, and it's also. So here, let me show you if you're really interested, because this one's a bit of a mess. So he's been in custody a really long time. What is the term? So, like. Here we go. Okay, so this stretch right here, and then down here, that much. So, and like the gaps in between the dates he was in. So.
Same thing, I get those.
Where am I getting it from? So. I haven't actually.
No?
I was like, I think Maryland.
It's like my gun. Who else came in here? Huh?
Yeah.
What time is this? So did Price leave his gun?
Yes. Oh, sorry, did I just click you? Yes, it was a 2.
Go on right here. His gun should be in there. It wasn't for me, his gun in there. Over downstairs.
So then that one, not worried about, the issue with this big case is that
Yeah, so I went downstairs.
they are missing attorneys. So like we're sending an attorney here because he's no longer
She wasn't even when I
with
came in.
the conflict defender's office. I'm not sure. Conflict defender out there. Don't
And
know
what's your
if
last-
he's
your
still in
last-
this case. Missing attorney, so like just a mess. That's. I'm not sure, its name sounds familiar. That might still be an attorney.
Well, I come here to help. No, I didn't.
You would not even believe.
I put my gun in 70. I didn't take my gun out there. I put it in my courtroom.
Oh, that's why. So I had to put it from to these guys and that was it. And then that's a plea. That should be a plea. And then this will handle. Yeah. So
who else was in here? No, it wasn't, because I put my gun in my courtroom this time. I put my gun in my courtroom. I never.
Where's your problem at?
Oh, my hip, because I was in business security.
like, no, you said there was room for a truck. There is. I've already talked to him.
Whose gun is that then?
What you had, child? What kind of gun you had? This is a 23C.
Mine is 93FC.
No, I'm talking about this is a 20 a block.
Yeah, I do have 23C. But my number is 93FC. I know the last two of mine. So who else is in here? Avila?
You didn't pay. This is right here.
So who other gun is it?
So I was like, what gun you had? You got 23.
This is on.
So who other gun is in here that's on it? Somebody else's gun is in here.
Yeah, because we'll be able to make our.
It's one more gun in here.
Who is 420302 LC?
I don't know.
So how you?
Let me call Avila. No, 23C. He ain't got no small gun like that.
Yeah, of course.
It's under. But he shouldn't have, he shouldn't have carried the gun box. That's what I'm saying. Who else came in here?
Avila and Pace.
Let me call Avila. You heard me? Hello?
Yeah. He hasn't been in court since. There is. Oh my God, I forgot that you haven't been all the way through. Yes.
I really haven't.
If you go down to the first floor.
I don't have taken off. What's my face in here?
If you go to the ones that are like right outside this.
What she said? What she said?
You can go on the first floor.
Hey, look, do you have on the right gun? Because my gun is.
Machines through a double door, there should be a sign.
Mine is 93.
Yes. Just take it out. Yeah, I don't think this is.
What, do you know your serial number on your gun? Yeah. Is it 0246?
I have like lunch with me.
I got an with 0246. Okay, number.
Yeah. So yeah, you're totally.
You want to know what you want to pay?
I'm just gonna go to the minute.
But hey, nobody gun in here. Yours, and I put mine in here.
What y'all say the news is on the gun she got? 6040.
No, I'm good. Thank you though.
Yeah, ask Charles face.
So I'll take a picture of it.
She said she got four, Charles said hers is four, that's not it, mine is 93FC. Yeah, mine is 6.
So who you working with today? You got inmates today?
I ain't have no inmates today, I just went to my courtroom, I went to relieve SARS, and I went to AE. And, I came over here, that's on time for my room to lock. Well, who else could have got courthouse jobs there? Cause wasn't nobody done in here but me and Gordon. So somebody that came and switched their gun.
Check, let call that.
Ask Gordon, anybody else? Let them ain't no 23C doing.
They had inmates, like, and give that inmates and stuff.
But they wouldn't have no 23C, right? That's a small gun. Okay, let me call Sarge. But they still in court, right?
There we go. They still in the courtroom, man. They still in the courtroom. Oh, he's like, going on. They see?
I'm looking for one there, brother.
It might be the. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, all right. No, it's dinner, but that's not her. She said that's not cereal anymore.
Yeah, I did. It is a gun in there, but I don't know whose gun it is. So I'm just saying that whoever is in there, they probably got fined.
Yeah, we got some more. You know your Who's that time to make sure? What you said, I was prudent.
I was designing that.
That's what. So you.
Like this. We said it.
Right now, you're working.
I'm just trying to think about.
Green. Or green. Who's on trial?
I ain't been on trial.
Who was on trial 2 weeks ago?
I don't know, shit, I've been on a lot of trials. But I wouldn't have my gun on if I was on trial.
Well, I know taking them down, though, like took them down. And switched out.
How can I find out who gun is this right here? That's what I need to call and fact.
Took them out.
Hey, I have a question. Somehow our guns got swiped up, and this is not my gun. I went down to help Warden get take some inmates down, and I put my gun in here, and now I don't know whose gun this is. I'm in AD. I did. Yeah, I know my serial number. I have it on my phone. Sergeant Lattimore and Hope, they said they don't have a 23. I never knew it was mixed up. I just, so what I thought, take this weapon right here? All right.
He said,
You found it?
Yes.
Some jurors. Ooh. I was like, I wonder if they're here. So I think there's another trial that's like starting, like they're doing right here. Other than the Adams charge? Yeah. I wonder- a criminal. So how many in custody clients do you have right now? I'm not sure. I think. It's a lot of, oh, because do y'all still have, I can't remember, is it 2 days a week or jail calendars?
1 day.
Is it Friday or Wednesday?
Mine is Wednesday. I think the other
Okay.
courtroom is on Friday, yeah. So we pick up jail people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to go to the jail, like, give 1 day a week to do jail related things. Like drive around and go to the jail. Cause I found it so difficult to communicate with them, to do the phone or like the online visit or all that stuff, like.
The online visit never worked for me.
Um,
So I just didn't even, I would always either just go see them or like the phone, well, now, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that like we can no longer request phone calls. Do you know if that's true? I haven't tried it because I heard that it was working.
it hasn't worked for me, but I just find it, it's annoying to drive, sure, but I just find it so much less of a hack, like,
Yeah.
because it worked, like I drove there and it's,
Yeah.
like, it's so
No,
much less frustrating than.
It's also nice because there's the like record of your visits in Odyssey. That way, like the phone call, it's not as clear.
Oh, I didn't realize that,
Yeah, I'll
yeah.
show you. It's a game changer.
So I see jail people like once a week.
So like for, yeah, if you type in their booking number and then the context, you can see like who has been.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. It's really helpful.
Does it pop up even when you go to see them and it was not successful?
Yes, because if so like
That's
Mr.
good.
Fox, for example, like.
Mhm. That happened before.
So then, this is what's happening here. Yeah. So then, okay, I'm trying. Let me pull this up. Let me file this first. Yeah, like a million things happening right now. And yeah, feel free to let me know if you need help. Like whenever I can with you, I want to be helpful.
Signing, yeah, that was so helpful.
Well, and
Super
just,
appreciate that.
And just in general, like, so like feel free, because yeah. And a lot of this stuff you don't necessarily need to like tell me how to do something. You know, like you can feel free to like,
yeah.
I want to be helpful to you too. Like I'm happy that you're like, like that I get to see. It's okay. I get that it's mostly for me, but I want it to be for you too. Like
Okay, yeah,
if you
you
need help.
totally. That was super helpful. I don't know how it was in your own circuit, but I was telling someone recently. So when I worked in Carroll County, when we had court days, which of course was pre-COVID, so like they were monster calendars, but I had an investigator that came with me every court day. And she was amazing. She would sign the report for me. She would talk to like non-clients, family members, like just so helpful. And then also like on our arraignment days, my admin came and court with me. And
scheduled meetings.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. She would come to a lot of people. She would bring like a schedule and line up people for meetings. Like,
so we would have like other attorneys would come help us, which like, yeah, there's not as much opportunity here, but like on our calendar calls, we would represent everybody on the calendar. It'd be like 50 plus people minimum, like at least 50 people.
That's how it was in Carroll too.
And it's just me. This is my job, so it's just me. So I'll have people are like even taking pleas for me because I'm talking to people.
Oh my God,
or I'm taking pleas and I'm like having my friend like talk him into this, like he needs to take this plea.
Right.
Or it's fine, whatever. I guess it could go to trial. Like
that's how it was for us. So like we had, so the way they divided it up, because we would have at least 2 attorneys assigned to the same 2 or 3 forums. I can't remember how many it was, but that's how we did it because they were monster calendars. So like
every calendar was.
I took so many pleas from my trial partner and vice versa, and like it was just like smooth sailing. We like got so much stuff done, and then like the very first time, so like the reason that like I knew it wasn't the same here is because I got hired here at the very end of 2018, and then 2019 I sat second chair on Attorney Jonathan trial, and her judge scheduled an arraignment court date in the middle of trial. Craziness. So the trial came in. I was just loving, you know, who can I talk to? Like, who can I like sign up for a plea or whatever?
Wow. Yeah, before like, because it would be like on its own day, like every day it's like kind of crazy, but especially on those days where it's just you. Because we did it where we were each assigned to a certain judge, one judge, and it's just one of us too. And then, but we all will have to go to every judge's court date.
Right.
So we have things on every court date. Every judge will take a plea.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's just calendar call. Like if there's going to be a trial, it's in front of my judge.
Yeah.
So yeah, normally like
you
Right.
might get a breather because someone else might have a bunch of pleas and then you get to do other things.
Exactly.
But on the counter call days, it's just you.
And so when I was first in non-complex, back when it was like a 9-week rotation, my first trial partner, 'cause we were on teams back then. So my first trial partner, she was like on leave when I got hired, so this is my trial partner. But then they hired someone and
That's cute.
oh my God, it was so crazy. And so the girl they hired, she was awesome. And so we did that. So like we could report, because the way non-complex was then is like it was one person per, but we just agreed, like it's so much easier if we like go over each other's court date calendar calls and like help each other talk to clients. And it's so nice just to like have someone to like.
Yeah, I really miss. I think that biggest changes it feels like kind of lonely because we would always go to court together.
Right.
And like we knew how each other's cases, we would help each other, which not that there's much to do right now. Like I'm not even getting offered, I'm filing a bunch of motions in the hopes that something happens one day. But like that's about all I can do from my end.
But no, it's like super helpful, I feel, to have someone with you first of all, and then
like
so
someone like
helpful.
barks at you.
Yeah, like exactly. So yeah. And so Natalie came with me last week. And I actually had a lot of bond people with me that week, or out here. And so it was nice to have that on me as like, just like out another person, because there was some lady who was like mad because I couldn't represent her because she had a conflict for me. And like, we ended up getting conflicts for 6 minutes, which she wasn't understanding. So it's just nice to like get that out alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, I'm kind of excited for the other person to start then, because it'll be more consistently.
Yeah, and I also,
because like normally would you and Shama go to all the court dates together?
yes, so Sean and I did come all the court dates together, even if, that's what I liked about like, we got along well, because like, even if I didn't have anybody on the calendar, I would come with her and like help her. So that I'm very interested to see if the new person is like on that same mind frame. Is it so
You should just feel like this is what we do.
I should, I know I might do that. Be like, but she's also coming from DeKalb, and I know DeKalb works a lot more similar to like the other circuits. So should be interesting. Okay.
What's her name?
Wait,
I wonder where she's coming.
I don't know. Oh my, I don't wanna like say that.
Yeah, because it's not like a faraway circuit where it's like, oh, this is where she lives.
Yeah.
Like, because the cab's like right there.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, probably, right? Like,
right. Right.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
So how long were you in non-complex before you? Did you ask?
I was in
at the time.
Let's see. So I was in non-complex all of 2019, and then hold on. I'm trying to remember.
Because it was different, right?
Mm-hmm. So before the pandemic, it was a lot.
It's like not even split the same way anymore.
No, it's not. That's why it's really hard to describe it, because we did first appearance at the jail. And that was before you came. We had like the public defenders had like an office at the jail. So like so much easier, because like you can like hop in there, you can like involved, or you can like show a plan, like way easier. But we don't have that anymore. Yeah, so everything was first appearance was at the jail, and then APH also is completely different. Well, there is no APH now. APH would be, oh my God, it's like, oh my God, it's so hard to describe, like, because there was a whole week. They happen every week, but you only had 1 week during your rotation. But it was literally in the like monster calendars. There were usually like 6 or 7 different calendars. And one would be like an inquiry calendar, the other would be like preliminary hearing, a bond, status.
On one day?
And so what you would do. Yes. Oh, am I not muted?
I just want you to know you've been streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, sorry. I'm like talking about the different courts that I've been in.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't think I've said anything crazy, but I will make
I
sure.
just happened to come back to my desk, that's all, and I know.
Yeah, we both worked in different circuits before we came here, so we were talking about the differences. Thank you, though.
Okay, I just wanted you to be aware of it. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Hold on. What does it say? But yeah, so it would be like, it would be like a lot of calendars. So you would have either to come on here and then it also would show up.
Yeah.
And after this, it's like this. And then before I got here, you could actually take place at APH. Yeah. So you just. Right, that's a huge, yeah.
That's like probably the biggest.
Agreed. Okay, so. Very good. I know, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. You were at 60.
Yeah. Oh.
This is Georgia bench. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What? I know, this is a joke. Too much people, yeah, context is insane.
Is that too long?
Unreal.
I'm so excited. It's like, I'm gonna be a trial. No, like this. Weird.
Surely that makes sense. Emotion.
Right.
I think so. I think she is. I think she's saying that some emotions gonna be guilty.
It's fine. Oh, look.
Oh, okay. She said, okay, what did she say? Did she say your name?
Yes, like all of that is about the same case.
Oh, just like, is Lauren a prosecutor?
It's like,
What? That's. And then he'll speak to him on the offer.
or yeah.
Oh, I remember. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Fine, how about yourself?
Good.
So, would you bring the mayor out separately?
So. Wow. Nervous?
Literally never be. And my boyfriend and I, on the other hand, are always like.
Oh my gosh.
I'm always running onto the plane. It's
Where
just,
do they go?
I just can't even imagine being early. They're gonna here. It's so nice. Honestly, early to the term. How? And the things is kind of like an hour. That's so funny. That's funny. That's how it was. A couple times in my life. But also, and the airport is at least the one with Delta is like really small. Like they still have the gates differently. And the security just goes with the gates and then like, so it's always really fast. So basically like they add security. Which is great if you're here. Great. These guys. So you have the consistent. It's so that is not the stickers. So like, so I don't have everything in this room. I'm
this is the trial week. Since being on another trial week here. There's weird days to get the trial weeks. So yeah, so then that's a trial week and then. No, I think this is a trial week. Well, like, yeah, that's the thing, so that is a really. So it's not. Right. So. I don't know. Do you just like ask me what you do? Yeah. Yeah, that's what you know, when I first started. It was easy because you can see which weeks.
So I was taking like extended weekend trips. It would still be the same though, still like just 3 days or something, and I think.
Right.
I think I just like in my house and stuff. Smart. But it's harder.
No, because you're gonna leave the baskets.
Oh, is it? Are we last?
So I think it's differently because it's in non complex, like there are reasons to do that.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense there. But here it does, so like I come in. Yes, so as long as you put in. Oh yeah, so as long as you put
Oh,
in.
that
I'm
Yeah.
Saying, like this is what I'll do.
I guess it's good for like, so it works.
This one right here, yeah, so this is when I did it when I was out for training. Yeah, so they have Sundays to this. I should put my current activities. And then it's so that way it's a trial calendar. I get them up early, I have some early, so like a trial calendar. So that's probably the biggest meeting. To cover for me. I don't have any issues. Did you get an offer? I don't know the way, I would just. Yeah. Just what's an odyssey.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. We did some in-house CLEs too. And then like. Right. Like, yeah, me too. Oh,
Now it's from some organization. I see it.